Welcome back to another episode of Figure Drop Talk. Welcome, everyone. All right, guys, without further ado, I don't want to keep us waiting too long. We're going to delve right into this. We're going to take a look at the brand new San Diego Comic-Con exclusive that was just fully revealed today. That is our boy right here. We've got Godzilla 2023, the exclusive edition. So you guys can feel free to follow along. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. You guys can follow along right here. Okay. So this is Godzilla 2023 exclusive edition. It is a San Diego Comic-Con event exclusive for 2025. It's going to release on preview night, July 23rd, 2025, and it will be available only at the venue. That's it. It's only going to be available at the venue, just for now. We'll get more into details about availability after that, but for now, it's only going to be available at the venue. That means if you are going to attend at San Diego Comic-Con, you will have the opportunity to purchase up to 3 of these. That's it, just 3. That's the maximum. And believe it or not, they actually don't require you, if you're going to be at the event, to get in line or a VIP pass or anything like that, or get a reservation to pick this up. It will be available at 2 different booths. You can pick it up at the Tamashii Nations booth or the Godzilla booth while you're there. So you'll be able to go back and forth between those. Last year's experience with the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, it was easier to pick this up at the Godzilla booth than it was at the Tamashii Nations booth, because Tamashii Nations booth has everybody picking up all of their exclusives, you know, Dragon Ball, everything that's available, including the Godzilla figure. But if you just want the Godzilla figure, just head over to the Godzilla booth. That's going to be over there. That's hosted by Toho. Getting back to this, though, it will be released at a price rate of $160. Stands at 6.3 inches. The accessories it comes with are only the heat ray effect with the stand. There is no Shinden plane, and we'll talk a little bit more about why that's not included for this release. But let's go ahead and talk about the description here. Exclusive edition rendition of Godzilla 2023. Produced by Yuji Sakai, captures the look of Godzilla's glowing dorsal fins from the film using clear parts with layered paint applied. The joint system has been carefully engineered to preserve the sculpt while allowing for dynamic, natural posing. Additionally, it comes with its iconic heat ray effect part with accompanying stand. So there you have it. That's what this figure is. That's what it's meant to be. And this is a really cool release because everybody, when this was first announced, the Radiant Heat Ray version that was released at Tamashii Nation 2024, everybody online globally was, you know, shouting on the internet at the top of their lungs, why is this locked behind an exclusive wall? Why is it only available in Japan? And Tamashii heard you guys loud and clear. And, you know, it's very rare that they do this, where they decided to bring it over to the US, but only in a limited fashion. And that was going to be through San Diego Comic-Con. Now, here's the catch. In order for this release to come over here, they had to make a sacrifice, and one of those sacrifices was changing the box art, because it's not a Tamashii Nations 2024 release anymore, and they had to remove the Shinden plane, because that was an item exclusive over there in Tamashii Nations 2024. So they had to keep something exclusive for that particular release. They couldn't make it the same for the US, unfortunately. So that's why the plane is not included. But still, it's really cool that they are making an exception for their Tamashii Nation 2024 exclusives to let this get reprint specifically for the US. So it's really awesome that this is happening. There are some folks that did go out of their way to import it. If you knew what you're doing with import sites, you know, Zen Market, you were able to probably find this at a marked up value, probably around like $200 shipped at least. But this is going to be made available in the US for $160, which is actually really interesting because the price of the heat ray variant, if we actually take a look at that, given with the current tariff situation that we're in, it's priced, the heat ray version in Tamashii Nations 2024 was actually 17,600 yen. And you know what else was recently priced at that? This guy right here. 17,600 yen. So, for everybody's reference, this figure could have been even more expensive. However, for whatever reason, they are keeping it at the $160 range. So that's really cool that they're doing that, because it could have been $184 with the current tariff stuff. So pretty cool that they kept it at the 160 rate, even though they didn't have to. So let's go back to this really quick. So let's just take a look. Let's just take a look at the photos right here. So in case you're wondering, I've seen it so many times said online, is it the same? What's the difference between this release and the 2024 event? There is no difference. It's the exact same figure. That's the idea of this release. It's supposed to be the same, minus the Shinden. So the paint, it's supposed to be identical. Even the heat ray effects, that's also supposed to be identical. But this is the front view of it. Let's take a look at more. Beautiful. I actually appreciate that they did the promo for this in darker lighting, because the promo from before was on a whiter background, so it was a little difficult to make out those details, but when you take a picture like this on a darker background, you can really see those details a lot better. And what's really cool about this release is that the paint application that you're seeing right here and everything, this is the final version. This isn't a resin prototype. This is a factory sample that they used for this photo right here. So what you're seeing is pretty much what you're gonna get. Just look at that, wow. And I actually do own the 2024 Tamashii Nation 2024 figure. So I did a variance comparison. That was actually, I think, one of the first one of the first or second variance comparisons that I did earlier. I just never did a video with it. This year, I will also be picking up 4 of these to do variance comparisons, because here's the thing. This is made from a different batch from the 2024 version. So I'm expecting some slight paint variances. Maybe the body color will be lighter, maybe it'll be a little bit darker. It was already darker compared to the original 2023 release, so we'll see if there's any differences, but I will be picking up 4 of these guys when I'm there in San Diego Comic-Con. And I will not be keeping them. They will be made available to you guys. So if none of you are, or some of you are not going to Comic-Con, you can hit me up. My DMs have already been lighting up for it, but nobody's actually 100% committed just yet. They were just asking if I was going to be picking it up, but I will be picking up some of these guys here. So if you are interested, you can hit me up and we'll talk about it on the DM. So if you want to download these photos, get a closer look for yourself, you can hit the download all images button right here. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to take a closer look, a real close look at all the details. Let's start at the top. Ooh, wow, look at that. So again, like I said earlier, this is a factory sample that you're taking a look at. This isn't a resin prototype or anything like that. So this is, what you're seeing here is pretty much what you're gonna get. Eyes look good right there. I like the little white dry brushing effect that they added into the mouth on this one. That looks great. It's hard to see when you have these things in hand, these smaller details. You can only really see them when you're looking at high-res photos like this. The dry brushing looks really good on it though. Look at that. Wow. It's a little dirty on the claws right there, but again, it's, you know, mass production right there. That's what you're seeing in variants. It'll look different on every single copy, I guarantee it. It looks like it's still gonna have the darker body color compared to the original release. Looking real good. All right, so that's our first photo. Let's take a look at the next one. Nice view of the head. I like this figure, this particular sample that they're using right here, because the white is just on the bare tips of the teeth right here. The ones that I had from before, it just kind of varied throughout. Some of them had white paint on the gum. None of them were really on the edge, but this is a really good copy. I like this. And also the white on the tongue, that's really good too. And don't worry, I see some of you guys making some comments about this might be better than the other one that was out in 2024. We'll take a look at both, actually, so you guys can see an example of them both. Yeah, the dry brushing is really well applied on the feet this time around. That looks really good. I doubt that you're gonna get it this good because of mass production, but oh yeah, look at that. I don't remember if it was like this on the tail, where you have this blue glitter effect. I need to look at my sample photos. If this is new, this is an improvement that they've done. That looks great. You know what, let's look at the dorsals. We didn't really get a good look at those. So the dorsals are transparent, translucent. So they're painted with translucent blue and white. So if you shine a light through them, they actually light up fairly well. This is a studio setup these guys took in. The lights are not coming from behind it, though. The lights are in front of it, so they're lit up, but not lit up as intended. Let's look at the next one. I'm gonna acknowledge some comments really quick before we keep going. Minus Godzilla is probably my favorite design. It's like a mixture of all Godzilla's designs. You know, when I first saw its design being fully revealed, I said, yes, that is the modern Godzilla that I've been looking for, because it takes a little, like you said, it takes a little bit of everything. I think there's more of a Heisei influence in its body type, and the Heisei Godzilla is my favorite Godzilla silhouette. So I was really happy to see a modern twist to that right there. I really like that. So I can see, you know, there's 54 elements in there, a little bit of legendary design in there, but I think the overall silhouette still kind of reflects that Heisei look. I feel like the paint on this version is better than the previous release. Yeah, it could be. We'll see. I'll pull them both up so we can both look at them at the same time. Not gonna lie, S.H.MonsterArts could make the green Godzilla from the 70th anniversary video. That is up to Toho, and because they did that commercial, there could be other licensors involved. We don't really know. It would be pretty neat to see that, but I think that there is still precedence for things that appeared in movies versus spots. I mean, we also even haven't seen the ride versions appear into this line just yet, so. But that would be pretty cool. It would be pretty cool. I don't think they want to take away -1 spotlight just yet. I think they're not done with that, so we'll see what happens. It looks like it's glowing. Holy cow, that's the idea. It's painted, and you know, I'll put it this way. I'm a person that doesn't like glow effects painted on a figure because I'd rather produce them with my own lighting setup. However, I know that I'm in the minority here because most people aren't like me, where they do photography of their figures and stuff. So most of everybody that buys this is going to put it on their display. So that's why it's painted to look like that and have that glow effect. And I think that's really cool. I think it's great. Robo Lizard, welcome. Baja Blast Goji? Goji? Yeah. Yeah, go to Taco Bell and pick up your exclusive edition Godzilla. Go for it. Wait, is the dorsal plates articulated this time or no? No. Toho is very strict on how -1 is presented in toy form. So they will not probably ever move in a toy. It would be a miracle if a toy company can get approval to do that, but also let alone the design function into getting them to pop up would be so expensive to produce on a figure like this. Maybe on like a Playmates toy it wouldn't be so bad, but for a figure like this, it would be very expensive, I'm told. So, but Toho, they're very specific about charging variants and heat ray variants. They can't be the same. So dorsal fins, if it's going to come with a heat ray beam, for example, dorsal fins have to be down. If it doesn't come with a heat ray, the dorsal fins can be up. Godzilla had too much Powerade. Yo, I'm a Gatorade fan, so. All right, let's get back to the photo here. Yeah, look at that. Don't worry, we'll circle back at the beam in just a minute. We're just gonna look at these dorsals and appreciate them. Yeah, they look great. They look good here. Yeah, the paint application for the globe, this is perfection right here. I don't even think it looks like that on the version that I have. The version I have it's very saturated. And this has got that nice, loosely painted, it's like almost dusting for the glow effect right there. I love it. All right, let's take a look at the beam. I will say, with my experience with this figure, the Tamashii Nations 2024 Heat Ray version, the head and the neck was probably the most stiff thing out of the whole entire articulation engineering. I don't know what they did differently, because on the original and minus color, they moved pretty well, but for some reason with this figure, maybe it's because they used the translucent plastic throughout the whole thing, but man, it was super stiff to move that. Even after heating it up a couple times, it was still difficult. So that's the heat ray. You know what's interesting is when you take a closer look at this, the beam effect is actually applied in parts. It's not pulled out of a mold as one piece. You know, you've got the flare bits right here at the edge that are glued together, and then you've got this bottom piece that's glued on. It's very interesting on how these are manufactured. Not all beams are like this, so something had to be done production-wise that they had to split this up because it wasn't pulling out of the mold correctly. Very interesting. And then, of course, you get your Tamashii Nation stand. Now we'll take a closer look at the roaring pose. I do appreciate that this figure can look up and roar. It really makes a fantastic pose. This is a little bit of a better example of seeing that translucent dorsal effects in working because they've got the figure just slightly in front of those lights, so you're seeing a little bit of that translucency pop right there. Let's look at these claws really quick. Yeah, it's not too different. Wow. Yeah, this is pretty much the same right here, how they did the top parts that aren't the dorsals, just the top of the tail. It's more of that silverish white, kind of bluish color. So that was also present on the Tamashii 2024 event. Looks good. We only got one more photo to look at, guys. There wasn't that many this time. They only gave us 6. Or sorry, 5. They only gave us 5. Sharktopus Von Jr. So does the original have translucent spines or what? The first version, I'm assuming when you say the original, you're talking about the 2024 Tamashii Nation event figure. That it's the same thing, translucent and everything. If you're talking about the first Godzilla -1 figure in the line, that none of it's translucent on the figure. All right, let's take a closer look at this one here. The scar looks nice. I think I said that originally when I was talking about the variance comparison of the 2024 event version, that the scar was done better. But it all looks good here. Kind of you get to see more of the top of the tail in this from this angle right here. You know what's crazy about this figure is that all these dorsals, every single dorsal spine you see here, not the ones on the sides, but the ones in the middle, had to be glued in one at a time during the manufacturing process. Every single one. There's our beam. The beam is also translucent, but I will tell you guys this about the white part right here. It's more of an opaque. So it'll light up, but you can't see through it. Not like this end part of it where you can see a little bit through it. Okay. So I believe that was the last photo. Yep, that was it. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare it to the Tamashii Nation's 2024 figure, the Heat Ray version, just so you guys can see. Let me just minimize this right here. Okay. Okay. So this is for your viewing pleasure. You guys can take a look at both figures side to side. This is the 2024 Heat Ray on the left, and on the right is the exclusive edition. I mean, if it looks darker on the right, it's because the lighting is darker, and the lighting is so much brighter on the left right here. But I'm fairly certain that the paint is going to be identical. And if you guys want to take a good look at the head, I know somebody was asking about, did they do a better job on the head? It's pretty much the same. The difference is just paint. That's it. That's literally it. It's just the paint is a slight varying differences, you know? All right, I'm going to highlight this comment right here. We're going to talk about this really quick. Yes, Jay Swan says, yeah, this is cool, but I'm a little disappointed. I really wanted a final battle version. So here's what happened. You know, Tamashii Nations did let's go back to 2021, right? Or 2022, I forget when it came out. But the Kong exclusive, San Diego Comic-Con, SDCC Comic-Con exclusive for Kong, that had all of these additional tooling on it, like the claws and everything was scraped on there. And then it also came with, extra effects accessories. And while everybody here in the United States was like, this is so cool, the world was outraged because they had done a figure that had new tooling and it had new accessories, and the rest of the world wasn't going to get it. It was just limited to San Diego Comic-Con. That was it. So in response to that feedback, they kind of dialed it back. This is why the 1989 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive for the 1989 figure, I'm not going to say that I'm confirming this 100%, but this is 100% speculative, but that is part of the reason why that also doesn't come with a beam effect. People want beam effects with their figures. And the whole idea of doing Comic-Con exclusives, event exclusives, you don't really want to do brand new stuff because they're locked behind venues. They're not usually made available. And it's the same thing when, the Heat Ray version first came out right here. When this came out, we were all outraged on our side because everybody wanted this figure, and now it was locked behind Japan, and you had to go and import. And there's a lot of people that, importing is intimidating to them, and some people don't want to do it or do the hassle. So they heard, they listened, and that is why they decided to make this available to the United States, this version of the figure. If you missed the beginning of this stream, we talked about why the Shinden isn't included, and that is because that is an exclusive item to the Tamashii Nation's 2024 event. They want to keep something special and exclusive to that event, so that is why it's not included in the San Diego Comic-Con. They want those collectors to have that special item. But we're collecting the figure for the figure, not for the accessories. So thankfully, we're going to have access to it. Love the glowing eyes. Looks menacing. Was it clear too or painted? The entire figure is translucent, but I couldn't confirm if the eyes are actually fully painted over, so you can... I don't think that they're see-through or anything like that. I think if you drilled a hole in there and stuck an LED light in there, I think they would light up. But I don't think the paint that's used is translucent, though. I think it's just painted, yeah. Okay, let's go back to comparing these guys. I hope that explanation was helpful for some of you that were wondering, why there's the Shinden that's missing and, why it's being brought over to the US in the first place. I see. That's super interesting, actually. Knowing Tamashii will probably get a final battle version someday. Especially, I'm sorry, it's cut off a little bit, but I'm going to read it over here. Version someday, especially with -1 sequel in the future. So when you're saying final battle version, I'm assuming you're talking about the pressure damaged version. So if that's so, if that was an exclusive, again, people would just riot because people want different variations of the character, right? The only people that'd be happy were the people that were picking up from the event. So hopefully, yes, that doesn't happen, but hopefully it's not an exclusive. Hopefully it'll be, just a premium Bandai release in Japan, and then in the United States, we all get it, just like normal retail. Let's take a look at the beam effect between these two. So the one on the left, the Heat Ray version, that is a resin version of the Heat Ray. So it's very clear. There's no seam lines on it or anything like that. Because this is the first time that it was made. This is the first time it was shown off. So, and this is also hand painted by Yuji Sakai. So this is why it looks the way it does look right there. It actually has a lot more blending of blue throughout all the way towards the top. But when it came to mass production, unfortunately, the white is more predominant about the middle of the way, and then it just gets more and more white after that. So that is a bummer. That's just how mass production, did the beam effect. But the tip still looks pretty much the same. But yeah, you can see that the white starts right here, whereas the white kind of starts right here with the blending, and it's just full white, just this much of it. And it's like this in the final version of the heat ray version as well. It's exactly like this. Yeah. Boy, I would love to have that resin version of it though, that's for sure. You know what, let's go look at this really quick, because I wanted to check the blending. Okay, so let's go to, I think it's this one, yes. So here's the blending on that, here's the blending over here. I guess it's the same on these. We're gonna compare it to my actual photos that I took of this figure though. Admittedly, I might add a bit of clear turquoise wash for the beam, especially on the white section. Yo, let me know how that works, because I have the paints just for that myself. I know, I'm so sorry, dude. I'm so sorry. I do know there is a fellow 3D maker, though, who does 3D print Shinden planes. He goes by Kujira. Shout out to him. He's producing those, and they're very affordable too. I think they're like 10 bucks or something like that. They're unpainted, but I mean, if you saw Tamashi's, they just painted it all green anyway. So if you're just looking for a little stand-in, he sells them for about 10 bucks, not including shipping. So check him out. Get your Shinden through him. Okay, so we're gonna compare this now to my actual copy that I got. We'll start with this. So this is what the heat ray version actually looked like if you got it from Tamashii Nation 2024. This is the final product right here. So if in fact they have overhauled the head paint and it looks just like the prototype, that's a total win in this. Total win, 100%. One of the big differences I noticed between the Tamashii Nation's 2024 version and the exclusive edition is the glow effect that they have on the back of the figure. Very noticeably, it is more of a whitish blue silver coloration on the Tamashii Nation's 2024 figure, whereas the new exclusive edition is more of a blue glow effect that goes down. And that is a massive, massive difference right there. If it actually turns out this way, this is the way that 2024 figure should have looked. So if it turns out like this, I will be beyond excited. Phenomenal. The dorsals also look, you know, somebody was saying that they think that they're a little different, but I think I just have a little extra light bounce on the figure itself right here. So my figure's got a little bit more white on them, but I think that they're the same. If they're not, they could be more, hypothetically, more translucent. So that would be pretty cool too, if that was the case. I don't think we have a behind the view. Yeah, we don't have a much of a behind shot. That's as good as it's gonna get. So we can't really see down the middle of the exclusive edition right now, but this is what it looked like on the actual 2024 figure. So if they keep this scheme right here, it's a total win, total win. That is enough reason right there. If this is changed on the new one, this is enough of a reason to pick this one up. Even if you have this guy right here, I think this is enough. Just have that right there. Because this looks so much better than this right here. So let's look at the feet. Yeah, so feet, I mean, there's not much different. It's pretty much identical. Aside from, you know, varying paint strokes, right? It's pretty much the same. Heck yeah, they look better. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, so let's look at the tail really quick. Let me see. I guess that was the best tail view that we have, is this guy right here. So let me zoom in on that. Yeah, it's completely different. That's completely different right there. Because it's got that white glowish effect. Yeah, completely different application right there. Let me just zoom in on the tail only. Yeah. Oh man, I hope I have enough money for this after G-Fest. Well, I mean, if it is available by then, I mean, I don't know. G-Fest is what, July 17th or something? Yeah. Put some money aside, man. Put some money aside. Is the right one a prototype? So the one on the right, this is a factory sample that you're looking at right here. This is a factory sample. So it's not a resin prototype. This is a factory sample that you're looking at. Let's take a look at that beam effect again. Oh, the left? The left is also the final production. So this, let me go back really quick. So yeah, this figure right here on the left, this is when I did the variance comparison of the Tamashii Nation 2024 event exclusive heat rave. So this is the final version that everybody got. That's it. Same one. Just 4 figures that I have. So each of these are different photos. You know, you can see the variance already. Just not much paint there. Then there's a lot of paint there. There's a lot of paint up here. But it's the same thing. Factory sample, final version. It's the same thing. It's done by the factory. So this one on the right, being a factory sample, looks really, really good. So I'm really hopeful that this is what we're going to be getting when we get the exclusive edition from Comic-Con. Do you know if you're going to be able to pick up this figure if you don't live in the US? So the way it works, unfortunately, if you don't live in the United States, you will not be able to pick this up. It is labeled as an exclusive edition that is going to be only available at San Diego Comic-Con. In the past, Bandai has made these available online through the USA P Bandai web shop that you can order, and they don't get delivered until, you know, February of next year. There's no guarantees that that's going to happen, but the only way for you to get one if you're out of the country is to hit somebody up and ask them to order it for you, and then have the middleman it for you. Could be smart to pull up the live stream earlier today too. Oh, from Bandai Collect. Yes, that's right. You know what? We do have that. I do have that pulled up actually, so we'll take a look at that too. I was comparing the beams though. So this is the beam that came with the 2024 version. Here's the beam that came with this guy right here. Pretty much identical. It's the same thing. The same amount of paint to the white. It's the same. Identical. Let's see here. What else did I have? Yeah, even with the variance comparison, one of the beams had a little bit less white on them, but it was pretty consistent at the halfway point. That's when the white started. Oh, don't look at that. Don't look at that. You'll just feel bad. Okay, so there's that. So that's how those guys compare right there. Let me just pull this up right here. Let me see. Let me see about getting that live stream up. I thought I had it pulled up, but I think it crashed. So give me 1 second while I find that. Give me 1 second, everybody. Now, their stream isn't the best quality, just a fair warning. But here's if you guys wanted to get a look at the box art. So that's the box art that it'll be coming with right there. It does look like it's still got that white to it. It's just really hard to tell. I do see a little bit of that white in there, but I can't see any blue because of how blurry and pixelated it is here. But there's the view of the box art. If you guys wanted to see what the box art looked like, it is very much in keeping with the traditional event exclusives for the past 3 years. And for anybody that's wondering, I will be picking up 4 of these for an additional variance comparison, but I will not be keeping all 4. I will be giving those, or not giving, but 3 of them will be available to purchase from me directly. So if you are not going to be at San Diego Comic-Con and you don't want to wait for the Bandai Premium Shop, if it goes there, you'll be able to pick those up for me as well. Yeah. Beam effect is the same, that halfway point right there. I will say this. I am... Uh-oh. Something happened there. Oh, you know what? I got... 1 second, guys. I accidentally enlarged the chat window, so it showed up all funky. There you go. So yeah, dig the box compared to the Tamashii version. I actually like the Tamashii 2024 slip cover. I like that a lot. It's very fun, but this is cool too. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. It won't be too much longer. We're going to be seeing hopefully some other views of this, you know, product sample views of it very soon. So stay tuned for that. So, but there it is. So it does look like the silver that we saw on the other slides that I had is still going to be there. So maybe that is still going to be present because it's still here on this figure too. It's just only down the center. It's just not on the sides. But I did see, it did look like it was a little bit more on the sides too. So we'll see what happens. That looks so sick. Probably the best Godzilla figure from Tamashii. Well, I think they've done some pretty solid figures. If I were to say other Godzilla figures would be better, I think -1 is up there for a good figure when it comes to articulation engineering, but I think there are better ones overall. All right, that is a wrap on this figure, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the stream today and taking a closer look at the Godzilla 2023 exclusive edition figure. It's priced at $160. You can only get it at San Diego Comic-Con for now. There'll be maybe some words in the future whether it'll be available at Premium Bandai US after the convention, or even the Tamashii Nation store in New York, but for now, it's just only going to be available at the venue. I will be picking up a couple extra of these, so if you are interested in seeing them after the variance comparison, just let me know in the DMs. But until then, we'll see you later.